On mute.
All right, so we're live. We're doing this thing one more time, y'all. It's Bryon.
Coach Moe.
And we're back with the Coach's Corner podcast. Hopefully you have a better viewing experience. On today's episode, we're going to talk about what to do when you don't make the team. Let us know early in the chat if y'all can hear us loud and clear. All right? So I'm going to run the intro. We'll be right back. And we're back. On today, like I said, we're going to talk about what we were talking about last week. So last time on the Coach Moe live stream, we talked about what happens when you don't make the team and feeder team blues. The feeder team blues segment actually made it to air, which was the second segment. The first one did not. All right. George Fox says he can hear us.
Hey, what's up, George?
So we're
Vegas, baby. We got to get back there.
All right. We're doing great. This is a lot better than we were doing last week. So that's a positive. That's a big thumbs up right there. And so we were talking about feeder team blues and what to do when you don't make the team. And there was a lot in what to do when you don't make the team. And we had steps laid out, like it was intricate that we laid the framework. And
that was a warm up.
That was Emmy winning material last time, bro. Like they need to just go and put the Emmy in the mail.
It's like the Will Chamberlain 100-point game.
Right.
No one really seen it. It's dope, but no one really seen it.
Nobody's seen it.
With a Will Chamberlain podcast.
We are a living testament to how great that last podcast without audio was. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to recreate that conversation that we had about when you don't make the team. But let's just jump into the meat of the matter. All right. So you don't make the team. You practice, get ready for tryouts, do all the other stuff. You go out there, lay it on the line, and you don't make the cut. What do you do?
Yep. I think the one thing we had thought about is the initial shock. The initial shock is the impact. And so it's
going through your grieving process.
You get the news, you got to grieve. You get the news that you didn't make it. It's a grieving process for a sense. And some people can just like, oh, move on, I'm ready to go. But most, let's be honest, we're human. And if you really thought you were working hard and you look up on the board, and I've been there, and a lot of people I know have been there, the first time getting cut, you're like, whoa.
Right.
Wow. Didn't expect this. I plan to be doing stuff this fall, and I'm cut.
George says, you go till you can't go no more.
That's right.
And the reality is you go through that process. The reason why you want to give yourself that, we're talking to the kids out there and the parents of the kids and the players. You want to give them that room for that grieving process just because it allows them, once they pass through that, then they can think a little bit more clearly and not make decisions that are purely based on emotion. If you don't let them go through it and process it and let them know that there's another year, we're going to come and try again.
Right.
That's one. The other one is we're going to do a bunch of things that we've never done before. And so that's where that goes. And so you don't want to go on either one of those streams. You don't want to just completely throw in the towel, but at the same time, you may have been just the odd man out.
Right.
Where it wasn't anything about your skills or anything. We talked about that.
Yep.
Mo, talk to them about bigger schools and what happens if there's a surplus at a specific position, like there's too many kids for a specific position. What normally happens there?
You're never really gonna know sometime. Like there's the obvious. Typically, if you're a 3-year starter or something like that, too, you're probably gonna have a spot on the team if you're a 4-year starter because they know who you are on your 4th year. You're new to the school, you're a freshman, you're in the Nebraska area, we call it A class, B class, your class A are your bigger populated schools. So if you go to the bigger populated schools, there's actually going to be more kids trying out for teams. So if more kids trying out for teams, there's probably 20 point guards, 20 shooting guards, 30 small forwards. And at the end of the day, if they're picking for one kid, they're picking 12 total kids. Total kids. So you have to be the best almost out of that, and being the best out of all that is you're the best in your freshman summer league. You're one of the best at showing up on time. You're one of the best in the weight room. You're one of the best with your grades. You almost have to stand out in multiple ways to get your foot in the door.
Right.
To even get that chance to making the team at all.
Right. And so you're in this position where you have to more or less if you're just on the fringes, like you don't know where you fall along those lines until you actually do number 2. And the next part is you need to talk to the coach.
Yep.
And figure out exactly what happened that made it so that you weren't. You need to talk to the coach and figure out, why didn't I make the cut? What happened? What changed? What flipped around so that when the decision was made, I wasn't within. Sorry, we got visitors. You have to make sure that you have to talk to the coach and figure out what was the decision-making process where I got left out and I didn't make it, and figure out exactly where you are in the hierarchy. Like if you were the one guard that would have been too many, then you just weren't anywhere close. You weren't even in consideration. And so it's basically talking to the coach and figuring out where you stand and what they need to see from you next time so that you can move on to the next part, which is coming up with the plan. And so, but you have to have that grieving process first. The thing you don't want to do is go burn all your bridges. We've seen kids do this. They want to cuss out the coach. They want to cuss out other players, F this team, and do all the theatrics and all the other stuff and completely burn it all down and think, I'll just transfer to another school. Not so fast, my friend. Coaches talk to each other. Oh, have you seen that before, Coach?
Man, let's say we go back to you grieve. And you gotta, after you leave, that plan, obviously, that plan, talk to the coach, but there's a way to talk to that coach too. If you know you're confrontational and you're gonna fire a kid, you may need the full 24 hours, sometimes 70 to do that. I would suggest not doing it after 30 minutes of finding out. You have social media, we talk about this on the pavilion. You can't go post right away on how you don't like the coach. 10 seconds later, we'll talk about it later. You just cannot do that. So this is, take your time and have the real conversation. You got to sit down and talk to your parents. There's more to it than just reacting. It just happened.
Blowing up the spot. That's what it's called. Don't blow up the spot just because it didn't go your way. Give yourself an opportunity to figure out why it didn't go your way and figure out what's within your power to change and what's not in your power to change. And then that's where you start putting together what your plan is. So it's coming up with the plan. And the first part of it is you take the information coach gave you and coach says, I need somebody that's a little bit stronger defender. Or physically stronger. You need to get your shooting percentage up. Things along those lines, those are things that you can work on in that year in between.
But if you blow up your spot, if you plan to continue the sport and you blow up, it's going to be bad because, coaches talk. So if I have trouble at this school down the street, transferring up the street isn't going to do anything because the coach is going to wonder, well, what happened this summer? He or she went and as soon as they got cut, they spray painted my name on the back of the school that I'm a terrible coach.
And slashed my tires.
Like, oh, I don't want that person here either.
Right. So it's really being mindful of that first reaction and then coming up with a plan. So having a good relationship with the coach lets you go back and talk to coach and say, hey, what could I have done? What do I need to do? And you'll be surprised. A lot of coaches will keep it real with you and say, there's just not on my roster or at this school for somebody with your skill set. And that's where you got to go back and talk to your parents, or the parents got to talk to the kids, and y'all got to put together a plan. But if the coach says, here's some areas to develop, and this is what I need to see next time. Okay, so now we got a lane to work. We got an area to work. And that's where programs like ours exist. You can get it done at your house. But if you know what your goal is.
Where do we add, Bryon, where do we add self-reflection? We didn't talk about that. Is this the time probably you might need to self-reflect after you cool down, after you talk? Did I really not perform well because I didn't give my effort? Maybe it was me.
I would save the self-reflection piece till after you talk to the coach. So that you have a framework about what the coaches saw versus what your perception was, and you can figure out where the gaps are. Because what happens is if you try to do the self-reflection afterwards, you're going to be harder on yourself, and you may miss, you were right there on the cusp, and we just had to make a choice between two people.
And you might hear that I'm terrible and you don't respect me and I'm about to transfer. That's what you hear.
So I would wait for the self-reflection. Go talk to coach so they can give you an assessment of what you did, and then you can do your assessment of what you did. So these are the areas that you need to improve.
I think when I look back, I was a pretty good athlete, obviously, pretty athlete. But I remember struggling with pieces of basketball that other kids got. I was super athletic. I could dribble and it was anything, but when it came, and I was probably a little bit before my time, I was like that lockdown kind of defender, and I'd rather be like a Rodman and way too. But I think I didn't actually just watch what other people are doing to make the team sometime or watch what they were doing. And I went on my own and got ahead of myself. And I'm not going to go to these extra workouts because I'm working out on my own. So I think we are at an era now that you can literally, it's easier to jump right back into correcting what happened. But back then we didn't have this stuff. We're going to talk about the stuff that you can do. Some people either stop or they didn't know what to do.
Well, we're in this era where there's information literally at your fingertips.
Yes. Yep.
Everything that you need to know or everything that you want to learn is out there for you to learn in one way or the other. It doesn't really cost you anything except your time. And we are also seeing more and more kids who come to us to play basketball. They do not watch basketball. They don't watch they'll watch highlights, but they won't watch anything that led up to the highlights. And the stuff in between the highlights is the stuff that they need to know how to do. And so that's what we run into is kids that have this grasp, this kind of vague grasp on highlight reel stuff, but they don't have any of the boring stuff out there, and they don't really focus on any of the boring skill work. And there's videos and there's all kinds of resources out there. There's more coverage of basketball than ever. You can find basketball. Even now the NBA season's over. There's the WNBA, the Olympics are coming up. You're going to see basketball pretty much all summer.
Right.
And kids don't want to watch it.
No.
We can't, even in season, we're like, Mo will give assignments like, go watch college basketball. Go watch college basketball. It's going to be a weekend full of basketball games. They don't want to watch it. They just want the highlights of the game and not any of the actual gameplay, the stuff in between the highlights.
Right. And you talked about it a few podcasts ago. We talk about this almost daily. It's almost, the journey is A to Z, right?
Right.
Like, it's almost like they want Z immediately, and you never thought about B. They want to skip C, D, and they want to skip all that.
Right.
And then they're upset when we tell them, like, hey, man, you're probably at G right now.
Right.
No, I got it because I beat everybody in my neighborhood and I'm the best one. I talk about this all the time. It's funny, but it's true. Everybody in your neighborhood is a skateboarder.
Right.
And they skateboard. So you beat them at basketball. That doesn't prepare you for basketball.
The idea that we're going to skip all the steps, we're going to skip the entire process and get right to the results is right up there with the win without competing thing.
Yep.
Where I don't want to put in any of the work. I just want the results. And I expect to have the same results for no work.
Right.
You're trying to bake the same cake with half the ingredients. And what happens is we see a lot of people that they don't want to necessarily go through the process of learning. They just want the knowledge distilled down, put in a blender, and injected right into their brains without actually having to do any of the work of learning.
Right.
They're trying to skip to the results. And that's the danger when you don't give yourself the time to grieve. You don't give yourself the time to process, and you don't do the information seeking, and then you don't do a little bit of self-reflection. These are the steps that you skip.
Right.
That will set you up to fail the next time you try, because you're going in with a plan that's not fully informed with what you actually need to improve on. And that's what we were talking about last time, right?
Right.
People trying to skip the steps and just, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to dunk. I don't want to learn anything else. That's all I want. I don't want to learn how to dribble. I don't want to learn how to play defense. I don't want to learn any of that stuff. I just want to get to the highlight reel stuff.
Right.
How do I get to 10 million views on TikTok? How do I get there? Help me get there. Like, that's the mentality that we're wrestling with. And some people will sell the promise of that. You see it all the time on YouTube. I have a marketing business, right? I see it all the time on YouTube. I try to give out really boring marketing stuff for business owners. And then you have Mr. Flashy, who's never run a business, has never really done anything outside of YouTube, telling you, you can skip all these steps and make $1 million a day by buying my course. And that's going to do better than me saying, yeah, it's not going to work. Here's the year that you're going to have to put in
Right.
to get to where you want to be.
Right. And it's how we take information too. Kids take it, they have to talk to the coach. How do you receive the information? If the coach truly says, work on this and this, what they're saying is, I'm giving you a chance. If you do this, there's a better chance, not a guarantee, there's a better chance you can be on the team. But sometimes kids hear, oh, you must not like me.
Right.
Oh, you don't respect my skills. I'm better than so-and-so, and this coach is sleeping. So next it's hashtag coach hates me.
Right.
Hashtag they sleeping. And you take another route, and I get that every year. I get one or two kids every year. Like, I would rather, I think I would have been a better answer. I know I would have been if somebody would have gave me both scenarios. Hey, Mo, work on this. These guys are in front of you because they shoot better. They do this, and they come to summer league, and they do this and this and that. I didn't do any of that. Or if they were real with me, like, hey, you're just not better than the 2 5-star guards we have in front of you.
Right.
They're just 5-star. They're 6'5" kids that hit 3-pointers at 45% rate, and they play defense. They show up to everything. But if all I hear is, you don't like me, there's a lot of coaches that might perceive their way like that. It might be seen to be mean, but most good coaches don't hate kids.
Right.
They don't hate kids. They might hate your effort. They might hate you. How many times have we broken up groups? Stop talking about your favorite Pokemon card in the middle of a game when we have 10 seconds to go because I don't know what to sub you in. Stop tickling each other. You 8th graders and 9th graders, please stop.
That's so weird. It's weird.
Stop. Stop. You're not ready at that point. That's why they're talking to you right now.
A lot of times kids, and I hate to just be preaching to the kids, and the parents need to hear this too.
Yep.
You're wasting your best learning years. Between the age, I forgot exactly what the ages are, but it's like something like 8 to 19, where your brain can absorb information so much faster, and you can learn things that would take adults years and decades to learn. You can learn them within that time frame and have a mastery of it to the point where it's automatic for you. Those are your best learning years. Those are the times where you need to really be focusing on what somebody is actually telling you and showing you, and really focus on the repetitive practice work and stuff like that. That's where you'll develop. And I don't want to promise that you're going to be Kyrie and get the Kyrie handles,
Right.
but to develop the Kyrie handles and get some of his bag, you have the ability to get a little bit of that just through practice and repetition.
There's a lot of work that goes into that.
There's God-given ability, but there's also a lot of work.
Right.
And the reality is a lot of people never want to put in the work. They just want the success part. But during those teenage years, those adolescent to teenage years, that's your prime opportunity to learn skills. And so if you want to become an amazing basketball player, this is the time to do it. It's not going to happen as you get older. We had a kid when I was working residential where he thought that his older brother was he's taking a year off. He's going to skip going to college for the first year so he can try out for the NBA. This dude didn't make the high school team, got kicked off every team that he had ever been on, but he was going to take a year off and delay going into college so that he could try out for I think it had to be Dallas.
Oh.
He's going to try out for the team.
Great plan.
Which is ridiculous.
Right.
And he didn't want to listen when the coaches were working with him. He's a great athlete, but he didn't want to listen to anybody. He knew it all. And it's like, windows closed on that, man. You wasted your prime years fighting with the coaches and not really listening to what they had to say.
Right. It's a business. So you get to that point, it's a business. If you can't handle business at a 7th grade tryout, and then you're the same attitude in 8th grade and 9th and 10th grade tryouts where it's like everyone else's fault and you don't want to listen to the feedback, it's the same results are going to happen. And I'm guilty of that. And I didn't figure that out. So I got to college and do that and had to walk on because I didn't listen.
And it's the prime learning years. And that's one of the things we were talking about last week. And it's a little bit early for the conversation, but I do want to throw it out there. Right now, because we're in summertime, If you aren't on the team, then workouts are not optional for you. I need to say it again. If you're not on the team, workouts are not optional for you. I don't care if the coach says these are optional workouts. These are optional workouts for kids that are on the team.
It's mind-blowing with social media, with email, with Facebook, how many kids are like, I didn't know when the games were. I didn't know when the things are. Like, I can look at your school and see the calendar.
Right.
And it says workouts in the morning for basketball freshmen Monday through so.
And those are non-optional. If you ain't on the team, those workouts ain't optional for you.
No.
You need to be up there with bells on first thing in the morning. You need to be there when the coach shows up,
right,
ready to go.
My information always says, any of my kids, you haven't earned anything. I got on a group last night, and they were quiet. So I'm like, you guys haven't earned anything yet. Right. I haven't made the team yet. And everybody, so I'm like, you guys are just walking into ninth grade. I'm like, November is when the tryouts are. Right. So you have time to either turn it up and be a sure shot to make that team because you're coming to those non-optional workouts. You're coachable. You're okay on the sideline. Right. Your grades are fine. That's why they use summer. You're evaluated now.
Right.
When you left 8th grade, most kids the next day walked into high school workouts.
Right.
High school workouts. And if you're in Class A, even Class B and C, you're doing summer league now.
Right.
So you're playing games, you're doing workouts. The month of June is dedicated to getting ready for school. So then July and August, it's like, we got workouts, might be optional. You still need to go. But then when school starts, now it's the real thing. How do you act in class?
Right.
Are you coming to late to class? Are you talking back to the teacher? You're just a freshman on there.
It's an evaluation of everything you do.
Yep.
And so beginning of summer, from the beginning of summer on, you're under the microscope and you have to show up and show out. So that's why we're saying the workouts aren't optional. Going to school isn't optional and all this other stuff. Thanks for the like. But, so we talked about grieving process. We talked about coming up with your plan, attending the optional/mandatory workouts, because that's where they decide who's going to make the team and not. Now we need to execute the plan.
Yep.
Execute the plan means you come to a place like us, you go out in your backyard, and that's what you do through the summer.
And stop listening to, here's the deal, you do it either way. My dad was a phenomenal football and track guy. Did not play basketball. So when I trained with him, he had some good stuff. We ran hills. He taught me how to jump and do those things, but he didn't teach me how to shoot or none of those things. Right. That kind of kept me behind. I got shooting better in college, right? And it's good. But now you do have access to trainers. You have programs like this. There are trainers out there, very good trainers, friends of ours that can train and do, that are shooting coaches that just specify on 3-point shooting you can go to. And I'll hear cats that say, you don't need that. You just need to go out there and grind. If that's going to help you gain confidence, gain skills, get yourself back to where you need to be at, let that kid do it.
Yeah. And so that's where the space is. But the other side is, because this is the piece I'll throw out there, it's your choice.
It's your choice.
Like, if you don't want to, like, here's the thing. If you get with the trainer and the trainer says do X, and you're like, I want to do Y, what are you paying the trainer for? If you tell the trainer what your plan is, and the trainer comes up with a program for you, and then you don't follow the program, then you're throwing money down the drain.
We talked about a kid that we had a few times. Would go, wouldn't take it serious, and finally asked, like, you were like, are you trying out for a team, or are you a comedian? Like, What are we doing right now? My mom paid for this thing.
Well, you're
taking it serious.
Like, you're a senior. We have 4th graders that can handle the ball better than you. You are the single biggest distraction in our training class, but you say that you want to be able to try out for the high school team at one of the more competitive schools in the state. That's not realistic.
Right.
And I think your mom she's just looking to occupy your time. Yeah. And the goal that you have doesn't align with the effort that's going to be required of you, and you're definitely not showing it through your behavior. So what are you doing here?
Right.
And so for me, I look at it like this. If you don't want to do a trainer, that's fine. If you feel like you're going to do it on your own. Right. But if you're going to pay for a trainer, then you're paying for the expertise. Listen to the expert. Give them what the coach said you need to work on to make the team, and then let them create a program for you, and then you follow that program. Instead, that doesn't align. And it goes back into what we were talking about with some of the feeder team issues, where some feeder teams are great. Some of those select teams are great if they're affiliated with the school or whatnot. Some of them aren't really aligned with what, because they know the high school coach ain't going to pick any of those kids anyway.
Right.
And so they just run whatever. They just want to get trophies and medals. And it's not about creating the kind of players that the high school program wants.
As a high school coach of Coach High School, we want the 12 kids, 12 total, but the 8, they actually play like your kids, that are ready to play.
Right.
That are ready to play right. Not saying they're perfect, not saying the next level 5-star athletes, but they're ready to help us win games.
Right.
Help us win games. Let that be the most energized kid to get up and down the court. Let that be kid be the best passer. Let this kid be the best rebounder. Let this kid be the best scorer. We combine them all. The 6 man's come on the bench, give us energy. The 7th guy can do the same thing. The 8th guy, if we got a good lead, help.
We form like Voltron.
Right.
And he just happened to be the head.
Right.
No? Right. So what we're saying is this: make sure that the plan aligns with what the goals are, and then you focus on executing that plan.
Right.
And you take it seriously. You don't give yourself outs. You don't shortcut or cheat yourself. You act like, okay, now's my chance to prove everybody wrong.
Right.
And you put in the work over the summer. You got to, if you don't play any other sports, and this is the other part, if you play other sports, it's going to look different.
Right.
But if you don't play any other sports, you don't really have anything else to do but work to get better if you want to make the team.
If you want to make the team, if you really want to, there's no one hating on you. No one upset with you. It's even simple. If you're not doing nothing and the coach says, hey, there's an open gym, or I have one of the bottom courts open till 8 o'clock tonight, and you're not doing anything, he's trying to tell you something.
Right.
Like, how about you go in there and go shoot some free throws or do something to make that team? But if you just want to take all this, woe is me, I don't want to get it, it ain't going to happen for you.
No.
It ain't going to happen for you. And I show groups that right now they're 14 or 15, whatever. I say, in 10 years, a lot of you guys are going to look back, you'll be 24, 25, and you look back and you're going to be like, did you approach the basketball thing, the soccer, the tennis, the football thing the right way? Did you give your 100%? If there's something you really did you the right way, and did you get everything you wanted out of that sport? Because 24, 25, I never wanted to be the guy sitting at a club somewhere, sitting around a bunch of people. Man, I was a third string quarterback. The coach didn't hate on me. I would have won state. Like, nah, maybe you just didn't really work hard to take the opportunity or look what was in front of you.
Right.
And so, like, don't be that person in 10 years that missed out on the 8, 9 things you could have done, but you were stubborn.
Right. So these are the things. So now we've gone through the whole year. You decided, okay. And sometimes playing another sport can help you get better.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't make the basketball team, but I'm pretty good at soccer. And the soccer coach was talking to me.
Yeah.
Basketball and soccer have skills that cross over. And we talked about it last live stream. Go out there and try some other sports. But if you're not doing anything else, there's no excuse for you to not to be in the lab getting your skills up.
We're in Bellevue.
Yeah.
There's probably 5, 6 gyms within a 3-4 mile radius.
Right.
You could go lift weights and run around a track. There's something here.
So now we've gone through that, and we've gone through the summer.
Yep.
Possibly, hopefully you found a summer team to be on so that you can get your reps in.
Right.
You don't stop playing basketball completely just because you didn't make the school team. There's still teams that you can get up on.
Yep.
We're going to be probably starting the team for kids that didn't make the team that are trying to make the team for next year.
Yep.
So there's plenty of opportunities out there. All right.
We have plenty of stories of kids in our program that didn't make their team and they stuck with it. And not only did they make the team the next year, started and significant players are playing for a top AAU team because they did the 10, 11 stuff we just talked about, and they took it serious.
They played and they trained like they were trying to make a team next year. So we're in the summer. You're training. You're working on your skills. You're taking care of your body. You're doing the nutrition thing.
Getting your sleep.
You know, and that goes into the next thing. Now tryouts are in a couple of months here. This is where you really have to lock in. If you've been eating, garbage tastes great sometimes, bro. Like garbage is amazing, like some fries from McDonald's, man.
Right.
That orange drink.
Right, because the commercial has the smoke coming off of it. And that's the one.
You might have to get another loan on your house to afford it, but man, those fries and that drink. So, anyway,
when did McDonald's become $13 by the way for a combo?
I have no.
It's the same thing.
Anyway, junk food tastes great, but you've decided that you're going to take it seriously, so you're going to change up your diet and eat the right things. Get on a regular sleep schedule, which teenagers seem to be really reluctant to do. Get your schedule right. Get your nutrition right. If you need to do cardio, you need to get your cardio in. These are the different things so you can start prepping so that you can be everything that you need to be for tryouts. And now tryouts roll around, and now you come in, you're in better shape. You're skilled in the places that the coaches need you to be skilled in. You've shown up to all the off-season workouts. You've run with your summer team. Now you're ready to put your best foot forward with tryouts.
Yep.
Boom. Now it's up to the coach.
Right.
And it's up to you what you show on there. But you've already been through the process. You know what it looks like. And so now you can go and execute.
Right. I think one of the quotes I always got to look back, and I'm not going to get exactly right. So then, love Kobe as a player. One of the greatest as a player, but Kobe. But he said, basically saying that one of the biggest mistakes people make is that thinking that we have time.
Right.
You don't. Like, you think I could take a month off. I think I could take a week off. And then, like you said, it comes right back around, and you're in the same spot because you thought, I'm going to do this, and I'm gonna push a little bit back.
Mm-hmm.
I worked really hard for 2 months. Month 3, I'm like, we're not saying hurt yourself training, but you can't take a significant time off to get better.
You're not gonna lay up in the house from March to November.
Right.
And think you're gonna walk in the tryouts and dominate if you didn't make the team last year. It's just not gonna happen. We had a young man that tried to do that. It's not gonna happen.
A lot of it is pride. A lot of it is parents. You gotta keep it real to yourself too. We do sometimes either baby, baby, or we don't exactly hear that. We hear that my baby's in need, my baby's upset about trial, but we're not hearing is that your baby got some feedback. Well, and the feedback that the coach said was your baby skipped a lot of stuff, or your baby walked down the court, or your baby argued with the coach. So there was more to it than anything else.
There's two things. One of the sayings is, if you want to hit a target, you got to aim at it.
Yeah.
And so you got to take aim. And a lot of folks ain't taking aim.
Right.
They're just doing whatever, and then they're still hoping to hit the target. They're trying to not put in the right inputs, and they're trying to get the right outputs, and it doesn't work like that.
Right.
You got to put in the right inputs to get the right outputs. Right. So if we have a calculator and I'm punching a bunch of numbers in, if we're both punching the same numbers in and pushing plus and minus at the same frequency and intervals in the exact same way, we're going to get the same outputs. But if I'm punching in a bunch of different numbers than you are, plus and minus at different times, we're going to get different outputs.
Right. I love I love all sports, most of them. Though it makes sense to a sport, but one thing I love about basketball, I heard it before, most imperfect, perfect sport.
Right.
Because you're not ever going to be perfect at it. You're not going to hit every shot, but you can get better, so much better at it. And once you get better, it's a perfect, fun game to watch and play once I'm not stressed about the little stuff anymore.
Right.
But if I don't work on those little things that frustrate me, frustrate my coach, frustrate the college person's looking at me, I'm just going to be a frustrated player for 4 years.
And speaking of the frustrated player, if you're good enough to lay around from March to November and not touch a basketball, and then November you touch basketball, go to tryouts, and make the team, you would have made the team in the first place.
Right.
And you wouldn't even it wouldn't have been a cut and all this other stuff. So there is a thing where it is a skill issue.
Right.
Sometimes you go to a school that's just loaded.
Yeah, it happens.
And you want to play for the best school, but a lot of times there's a lot of people that want to play for the best school. And to be the player at the best school, you got to be one of the best players. And if you are number 13 in the top 12 players of the 80 kids that came in there, you might be the odd man out or the odd woman out. You either got to figure out what you're going to do to make the team next year, or you got to figure out what another opportunity is where you would be number 6.
Right.
And that might look different.
Right.
That team might be harder to work with. That team probably has less skills, but they need you more.
Right.
They need you more desperately than this loaded team. And so there's balances and nuances to these conversations. So we're not trying to oversimplify anything for y'all, but there's a process that you need to go through so that you know that you're making a good decision for you
Right.
and for your basketball future.
The grass is not always greener.
Right.
And sometimes it's your fault. Like,
Right.
you just got to say, you know what? Jumping over here, running from this, blaming everybody. It might be me.
Right.
It might be me. And if you get that, you might turn around and be one of the best decisions you ever had. Come back and work, make the team.
Right.
Or, like I said, pick the right school for you next year, like, too.
Right.
But you got to accept, like, I probably did not prepare myself as much as I could have. And we do that as adults. You might have an out-of-town presentation where you, like, I was going to knock it out the box, and you took a week off to not think about it, and then the week comes, you're like, man, maybe I should have practiced. Everybody said, you did a pretty good job. And in your mind, you're like, I did take a week off. I probably could have did a little bit more.
Right.
So we know kids is going to happen too.
Right. It's like back in the days where I was in a little bit more of a bodybuilding kind of wanting to get swole phase, right? I had momentum, I had it going. And my goal was I wanted to be the fat guy in the gym doing pull-ups. And I got to that point where I was finishing my entire set, 15 pull-ups.
Right.
Bang them out. That was the end of my workout. And that was the goal I set. And then I'm like, you know what? I want to be on Ninja Warrior. And yeah, there's a difference between being able to do some pull-ups
Right.
in the gym without assistance
Right.
and hanging 20 feet above some water with your fingertips.
With your fingertips.
And it's like, okay, do you want to be on Ninja Warrior or do you like gummy bears?
Right.
Gummy bears are fire, bro. And
They seem innocent and they seem so light.
and it's like,
Gummy bears are better.
I mean, it's being real with yourself and being real with what your goals are. What are you willing to sacrifice to get the goal, get what you say you want?
Right.
For me, it was, okay, I got to this point and got to this destination. And I was at a point, I'm like, okay, my daughter was born, first kid, changed jobs, didn't have any free time to work out during the day anymore. And life happened. And so my priority shifted a little bit from being Mr. Gym Rat in the
Right.
gym 4 hours every day, first thing in the morning, to I got to get up and go. I got to get up. I got one of these kids has court. I got to be here. I got to be there. I got to do X, Y, and Z. And so the priorities switched up. And so
Right.
I had to adjust my life for the priorities. But the beauty of being young, where you don't really have any other commitments besides the ones that you take upon yourself, is your summers are pretty much yours, and you can take a basketball with you no matter where you go.
Right.
And you can get to work in.
You hit a good point right there. I like to say CMA, Coach Moe, myself, my coaches, and me and Bryan's idea is, with what we do is we do it for the right reasons. When we're talking about this and sharing this going live, we are trying to do it for the right. We're trying to tell people when we talk. These are feedback from parents. These are feedback that we see online. These are things that we try to do and try to. So when we give out the information, we really want your kid. If their dream is to make a team, If your kid's dream is to be a better scorer, it's better. We have camps for that. If you want to be a better ball, our third camp, that's gonna be coming up. Our third dribbling. We do dribbling camps for that. So we know personally, we try to build it so we can add something to their bag here and there. And there's people that do that as well, but we know we're coming from a point where we talk to high school coaches. We talk to the kid that got cut. We talk to the 5-star athlete. We talk to the NAIA kid.
Yeah.
We talk to the D2 kid. We talk to those kids, and this is what we're giving you all feedback.
Oh, speaking of that, we've talked to people that are connected at different levels and whatnot. And one of the ongoing conversations that these people are having, the ones that are making decisions about whether you're on the team, this college team, or whether you're a prospect for the pros, they are talking about there is a skill deficit.
Yep.
Basic basketball skills, playing the foundations of good defense, being able to run an offense. There's a lot of rebounding, passing. These things that we consider basic are skills that they are desperately wanting to see in their prospects. They're seeing kids that are more athletic, that can do amazing things with the ball, but They can't pass the ball to save their life.
Right.
They can't play defense at all. They are sounding the alarm and saying, we need more of these kids. These are GMs and stuff like that. You watch enough of these podcasts, you'll hear them talk about it. There's a skill deficit. They want the more skilled kids. The problem is the skills are boring. Just like for some of these kids, watching a game is boring. They want to watch the highlights. The skill work is the boring stuff that they don't want to have to do, but it's the most important thing that's going to determine where they fall on the basketball hierarchy as they move forward. So the skill work is important. You got to put in the work to get the results.
Yeah.
And so we have a tryout coming up for our fall and winter program. What we're looking for is a full commitment. We're not playing around when we say it. You got to commit to training with us. We play players that train with us. If you don't show up to academy, you don't expect to play. If we don't see you all week, don't expect to play. We play kids that train with us.
It works, but it works. We're like, our kids that have been through the academy, like the guys and shit, they look around and like, wow, I made the team.
Right.
So you made your high school team, but you've been in our program 3 or 4 years. It worked. Something worked. So it's like we really do stuff that are preparing you if you buy in.
And so we're looking in terms of buy-in. We're going to have speed and agility on Tuesday nights.
Yep.
That's going to be a speed and agility at Basketball Academy. For the first month or two, we're going to make those a mandatory thing because speed and agility and conditioning, because you got to be able to run with us. You got to have the right footwork and stuff like that. And then afterwards, it's an optional thing that you can do to level up your skills.
Right.
But we're having the tryout. We want skilled players, but we want committed players. If you're the most skilled player in the world, but you don't want to commit to our program, there are other programs out there that you can try out for.
Right.
We're looking for people that are going to buy in and 100% commit to the idea of being better basketball players.
The grades we're looking at are 3rd through 8th boys right now, and this is the grade you're going into.
Right.
So the grade you're going into, so 3rd through 8th. If you're 7th going to 8th, that's what we're looking at, boys. If you have girls, now, listen, we have a girls program. Message us, contact us, because we have a coach that handles all the girls. Do not sit there. I don't know if you have girls. We do have a girls program.
Right.
So make sure you message. But the tryout specifically is next Friday for the boys.
Right.
And you have to sign up so we know that you're coming. I think Bryon can put the link in
We're going to talk to Coach Jeremy and get some more details so that we can give you some concrete stuff on how to get involved with the girls program, because we've been picking people up here and there, but I want to see if he wants to have a formal tryout for the girls program. I know that he's been working his magic on a lot of different things, and he's really helped out a ton with the girls that we have. So we want to have a stronger girls program. Right. And so Coach Jeremy has really spearheaded that piece of it. So we're going to talk to him, get a little bit more details. Hopefully we have something by the next live stream for that specifically. I'm putting the tryouts in the chat. Sign up if you want to come out. And when I say commit, you got to commit to basketball, our Basketball Academy program. In addition to, I think, one team practice.
Yeah, you'll get a team practice, at least one, but you'll get more.
So that's about it, Coach. Do you have anything else?
No, we want to see you guys at the tryouts. Check it out. If you are interested in our Basketball Academy, that also will be on there. Our Basketball Academy are Monday nights and Wednesday nights, so it's 2 nights of training, skill work. And you're just like, I just want to start somewhere and get my skill work. Basketball Academy is a great start. It's a great start for kindergarten through, we can go up to high school, but kindergarten through 8th mainly. And then we're going to work on that high school.
Right.
Piece on that. We also have one-on-ones. So you can call it specifically for that. And you have small group training, which we really want to get that going. But if you look at our page, I'll tell you a little bit about that. You can contact us on how to get your groups and stuff in.
We got plenty of services for you. It's just figuring out the right fit. And if you have any questions, shoot us an email. We can answer that for you.
And the word of wisdom to everybody is the ones that are playing right now, Summer League, going to your workouts. Props to you guys. Keep going. Hydrate yourself. Eat right, get your sleep, and guess what? Your friends might be talking trash, or people might talk trash about you. You're doing the right thing if you're doing what the school is telling you to do. You're doing what your trainer's telling you to do. You're doing the right thing. Keep going, because we're in a competitive age of now we're in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. You're fighting for your own personal spot, not your friend's spot.
Shut out the noise. The people that really have your back are going to be cheering you on.
Yep.
And they're going to be encouraging you to keep on your path. The ones that are trying to distract you and pull you off the path aren't really about you. They're about them. So focus on your grind and stop worrying about.
Share your videos. Keep sharing your videos. Send them to us. Tag us in your highlights. Do that stuff. That we give you props. It's okay. Somebody, that's just too many highlights. I had somebody tell me that. Man, this is too many highlights. Get your highlights. Get them out there. It's your journey.
Right. Watch basketball. I don't care if it's old games on the NBA classics. Just sit down and watch the sport.
Don't watch Will. He did not get a 100-point in the game.
Yeah, if you can find the footage.
There's no footage.
They're gonna be mad at us for talking bad about Wilt, bro.
Wilt
You
did
got
not get 100 points.
you got to take your foot off of Wilt's neck, bro.
I can't, man.
The Wilt slander.
I'm consistent with Wilt, and I've never seen a Dr. J jump shot.
This is a pro Wilt, pro Dr. J.
If you showed me a 5-minute Dr. J jump shot video, I'd buy it. But you're not.
You hear that, Dr. J? Get in the lab, bro.
I just want to see it.
Right. And we need to see Bob Cousy's left hand, too.
Man, I got to see the left hand, Bob.
Okay. All right. We're about to get in trouble with this, man. So, anyway, that's what we got. Tryouts are next Friday, and you got to sign up so that we know you're coming. And it's going to be a commitment. We'd rather you commit to our program and actually grow with us. That's what we're looking for. So that's what we got. We're going to be planning another one of these things. I like the format.
Yeah.
And so it allows us to stay in regular contact with you, gives us podcast episodes to chop up, but also have other things. We are taking questions. We're always taking questions. So if you have any questions, shoot them our way.
Good.
All right. So thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe.
We're on IG, and we're on what? We're on Twitter, or X, X, YouTube, Facebook. Some people are like, man, you guys are great. And I hear them like, hey, help us. Like you just said, actually like the page.
Yeah.
Actually listen to the podcast. Actually share the page. That would really help us.
Yeah. That stuff helps us a ton. Sharing the podcast. I try to post good clips that I think are specifically informative and stuff.
Athletes. So we follow our athletes. They would love it. So our athletes, they post their schedules. Check out some of their games. Watch them. Some of our teams are playing this weekend.
Appreciate y'all's time. Thanks for tuning in. It's Bryon.
Coach Moe.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.